1917, the Russian capital, Petrograd. A small group of soldiers, sailors, and factory workers storm the Winter Palace. Shown here, later restaged for the cameras, the event became a symbol of the Russian Revolution, the end of the old order. But what for some was seen as an explosion of hope, for others was a catastrophe.
A great country has been taken over by crime and lawlessness. Outrages forced on a defenseless people. All honor, all duty stifled. Everything noble destroyed.
Prince Felix Yusupov was one of those many aristocrats forced to flee Russia after the revolution. To the Bolsheviks who'd taken over, these people were the enemy. Rich landowners who'd lived, they thought, for too long off the fat of peasants and workers. Those that failed to escape were killed in their thousands. Amongst them, the Tsar, Emperor of Russia, and his family, shot in a cellar in Ekaterinburg in August 1918. Later, in exile in Paris, Yusupov wrote his version of the events that led to the Tsar's fall. This program reconstructs that account. Central to Yusupov's version of the story are the Tsar and Tsarina themselves, Nicholas and Alexandra. At his coronation in 1886, Nicholas had put the crown on his own head, no one else being worthy to do so. He'd inherited an empire covering 1/6 of the world, 125 million people, over whom his word was law. As a child, Felix used to play at Tsarskaya Selo, the Tsar's summer palace.
I remember, from my earliest days, thinking of them as a people apart, different from everyone else, and beyond criticism, like beings of a higher order. If anyone said the merest thing against them, it shocked me, and I'd flush with anger.
The Romanov family had ruled Russia for 300 years, and few had questioned their right to do so. The church taught the peasants to call the Tsar their little father. This was a backward, traditional, superstitious country. But the trouble with autocracy, the absolute rule of one man, is that it puts great pressure on that one man to deliver. And even Yusupov admits Nicholas had his failings.
He was weak, to put it bluntly. He worked hard and with great determination, but he was shy, only really comfortable in military circles. He never really got to know his country, and his country didn't know him.
In 1916, 1 year before the revolution, Yusupov was training as an officer cadet in the Tsarist army. A prince of Imperial Russia, his family was amongst the richest of the ruling elite. Their palace in Petrograd, the Moika, was just one of 35 palaces they owned across the empire. Felix himself was something of an eccentric, a poseur. All his life he'd loved dressing up in outrageous costumes. But by 1916, married to the Tsar's niece Irina, he'd vowed to put his riotous youth behind him. Because to him it seemed already obvious some catastrophe was hanging over Russia. The bond between ruler and ruled slipping away. 200 miles to the west, the First World War was just into its third year. Already millions were dead or wounded. But just as damaging as the German guns were the stories doing the rounds of incompetent generals, of treason in high places. Morale, like the army itself, was being shot to pieces.
It's not surprising. Riposte. We send them over the top without rifles. Coupe. We say, when he falls, pick up the rifle of the man in front. Or we give them rifles, but no ammunition.
So what are they saying?
They just want to be sure everything possible's been done for them. But there are rumors. I don't like to say it, Felix. I know how it hurts you when you hear ill of His Majesty.
Yusupov was used to unquestioned respect being shown the ruling classes. Instead, it seemed they were becoming a laughingstock. People said they were out of touch, more interested in themselves than in the common soldiers fighting at the front. Even the German-born Tsarina was accused. People whispered she had divided loyalties, or worse, that she was a German spy. There was no truth to the rumors, but such disrespectful gossip hurt Yusupov deeply. He agonized as to why the people's trust in the ruling elite was ebbing away.